we're going to hear a lot more about money laundering in Canada. And some of that actually doesn't have anything to do with Canada. Some of it has to do with the fact that we are on the US border. And in the United States, they are serious about money laundering. Look, I think if we're all just in agreement, just try to be rational about it and try to accept what we've seen going on in Canada for the last 10 years. The truth is that the United States is much, much more serious about crime and punishment and the rule of law than Canada is. We just got to accept that. We've observed it so constantly. We've observed people stealing cars, getting released the same day of their arrest, stealing another one, getting released again. I mean, these are facts. This isn't made up. We've seen all kinds of incidents of strange financial dealings. We have in our own industry an unbelievable, incredible horror show of a company that it's going on 6 years ago, defrauded people of hundreds of millions of dollars, and they still haven't come to trial yet. Like, we have a white-collar crime problem in this country. Hell, we have a lack of enforcement problem in Canada that's very obvious. What's that got to do with money laundering? It's like this. In the United States, they take money laundering very seriously because they understand a couple of things. Money laundering has a lot to do with drugs, a lot to do with the drug trade, the illegal drug trade. And no matter what we think about whether we should legalize drugs or not legalize drugs, fentanyl kills people. End of story. Full stop. So stopping the trade in illegal fentanyl is a good thing for everyone and all over the world. So that's things the U.S. concentrate on when they see rampant money laundering to support the fentanyl trade, or they see money, hundreds of millions of dollars being shipped to Colombia to support that drug trade. They're going to take action, and they're going to take severe action, and they are going to investigate, and they're going to get to the bottom of it. Canada, not so much. Just some audits turn up things that bank regulators don't like, and there's a small fine. The United States, well, we've seen the stories. We've seen the stories about TD Bank's operation in the United States, where there's some serious accusations of money laundering that have come to the surface. They're proven to be true. The charges are there. The people pled guilty. The money laundering is very significant. And unfortunately, TD is going to have to pay a significant fine. And I say unfortunately for this reason, that TD is in many ways is a tremendous Canadian success story. They are a retail bank that has been very, very successful in an incredibly competitive world of U.S. retail banking. Like, when you talk about productivity, one of the shining stars of productivity in Canada actually is our banks. Now, you could complain to say, "Oh my God, banks! You're saying banks are good." Look, we gotta lay the truth down. If the bank if some of the Canadian banks are doing such a good job that they flourish in this desperately competitive, wildly competitive, and extremely big U.S. banking market, we got to hand it to them and saying, "Hey, that's a successful Canadian company." If they could go into the U.S. and battle toe-to-toe with the super banks down there. Let's be clear. That's a good thing. So, the people in Canada are distraught. I know TD executives. I know TD bosses. They are heartsick about this. They are just troubled by it. I mean, these people, folks, I know them. I know some of the people close to the top. I've met them. And they are very hardworking, very dedicated, very customer-oriented people who hate this United States disaster. They hate it, hate it, hate it. They're sad about it, okay? So don't ever think that it's just big banks just brushing it off their shoulder and not giving a damn. They absolutely give a damn. So what should we care about? Why do we have to care about it in Canada? We have to care about it because it's going to spill over our borders, because United States enforcement is very strong. And our regulator reacts and says, we got to get tighter on money laundering. And that means more scrutiny of cash transactions. Now, cash, big story. Australia, there's only 4 banks down there. One of them says, we're going to stop taking cash. We're going to stop, like by January of next year, we're going to stop giving and taking cash. We want to get out of the cash business. What the hell? Like, Jesus H. Christ. No more cash? All right. I don't know how I feel about that. I'm an old man. I like cash. I carry cash. I like cash. Cash, I don't use it much, but I still like it. I like it. Okay. Well, Bank in Australia says, we're just not going to do it anymore. You want to take your account and go to another bank? Get the door, hit your ass on the way out. Just leave. It's a big benefit to the banks because cash is really the essence of most money laundering issues. That's just the truth. Sure, there's international transfer you have to watch, but if you really read these stories, it's these hockey bags full of cash that really look awful, and they are awful, okay? So what do you think? End of cash? Good? Bad? I know people who couldn't give a damn. I know people who never have cash, never touch cash, and don't know what to do. Like when the power outage and the machines break down, they can't buy anything. That's just reality. They have no cash. They barely know where to get it. Now, I don't know what you think out there in the listenership, in the viewership. Personally, I like cash. I know a lot of people who could care less if they take cash away. But we're going to be faced with it. I believe we will be faced with it someday. In Canada. I don't think they're going to give up their greenbacks in the U.S. So what does money laundering lead to? Money laundering may lead to the death of cash.